What a market cap doesn't display, and why it's not a good indicator for price, is that it doesn't display use case potential. And when you look at the actual use case potential of like XRP, for example, this is global and it hasn't even started at $10 to $13. That's purely chart based. And I believe it would get there if you just left it to the retail. But XRP is not for the retails. That's not what the point is.
To hear this, the head of the SEC was the chief financial officer of crooked Hillary Clinton's campaign. I said, who is he? He doesn't seem to be very reasonable. It's not even after me. They're after these poor guys. They said, we'd love to finance your SPAC. That's the end of that. They were served a subpoena because they're trying to silence us.
And the judge 5 times in the last 18 months, the judge in our case, she has ordered the SEC to turn over the notes in that case 5 times. We still don't have those notes. And I look at that as like the SEC, it is a government agency. The government works for the people. The judge is ordering the SEC to turn these notes over and they won't do it. And they keep coming up with new reasons why.
You have 4 miners in China that represent something like 60+% of mining capacity, and 80% of mining capacity about is based in China for both Bitcoin and Ether.
If there are no promises surrounding the asset, then it's curious to me how something could be in an investment contract.
I think there's a potential battle between the Treasury and the Fed, which sounds impossible because they work so closely together, but
cross-border payments can take days to clear and have high fees. And the U.S. has a strong national interest in supporting global standards for cross-border payment systems.
The whole crypto market has kind of gone sideways here. But what does Luis Yamada say? The bigger the base, the higher in space. In my view, you have to have people start using that XRP, that Ripple currency, in substitute for foreign currency. But that's the utility. That's the use case for Ripple, the currency.
The bigger the base, the higher in space. All the money.
You take the red coin, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
If you got a bag, welcome to the party, welcome back to some more. Moon o'clock news, no breakfast, no coffee, just straight extra. Foolishness, shout out to all the new subs, all the OG diamond hands. Appreciate you guys, we just hit 40K subs. 40K XRP Army strong. Appreciate all the support. Go ahead, throw on those pilot shades and buckle up. Here's to another 40K. We'll see you at the tippy top. Let's go full speed, full throttle into the cryptoverse. We got the total global cryptocurrency market cap today, 971 billion, down about 0.3% in the past 24 hours. We got XRP 46 cents in the red, down 3.1% in the past 24 hours. We got BTC right around 19K, ETH right around 1,300, and we got Stellar XLM in the number 27 spot, 12 cents, down 0.1% in the past 24. Watch out for the scams out there. More scams are popping up. They want those bags. Scams featuring Brad Garland House continue to pop up on Twitter. Be careful out there with your cryptocurrencies. Never send out your private keys if they're asking for crypto. It's a scam. Buy an opportunity. If the Fed continues raising interest rates, U.S. money will get stronger, causing gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices to go lower. Buy more. When the Fed pivots and drop interest rates as England just did, you'll smile while others cry. Take care. Riz XRP. XRP is going to make you retire. Make a plan. XRP. Know what you hold.
What a market cap doesn't display, and why it's not a good indicator for price, is that it doesn't display use case potential. So when you look at a coin, okay, let's say Dogecoin, for example, a meme coin, the market cap's pretty accurate because it has no use case apart from the occasional place that take it as payment, but it has no like global use case, like, for example, an XDC or an XLM or an XRP have. And when you look at the actual use case potential of like XRP, for example, this is global and it hasn't even started. November the 4th or November the 5th, XRP's technology, which there's a whole cover up of governmental things that I'm going to go into as well. Basically, the Ripple technology, all in all, will be starting to be used in Europe for all the payments using the technology. So in November, something very exciting starts happening, and that potentially could be the rolling out of the actual use case of XRP. And when you calculate the actual use case of XRP and you compare it to something like Swift Payments, who they might not necessarily take over, but they might join forces and use the technology with the Swift name, because Ripple don't care about their name being printed everywhere. without changing the Swift name, XRP could just be delivering it on the back end. And obviously XRP's price would go up as a result. And so when you're trying to use market cap, even the market cap chart to try and see, how much will XRP be worth? And let's use the market cap chart to decide this. Let's use the Fibonacci's on the XRP chart and figure out what the price predictions are. Doing that is doing XRP such an injustice. It's basically saying that if XRP continues to not deliver its use case, do what it's actually made for, then these predictions make sense, right? That $10 to $13, that's purely chart-based. And I believe it would get there if you just left it to the retail. But XRP is not for the retails. That's not what the point.
Know what you hold, eye on the prize. Looks like the masses are starting to figure out we've been holding the prize the whole time. Just in, Coinbase coin users are unable to take payments or make withdrawals involving U.S. bank accounts. Acting Director of Enforcement at the SEC, this is getting deep. It's time for Congress to decide if we have a country anymore. The world is watching. Looks like the SEC Chairman Gensler, Hillary's money man on her campaign, has a new fan.
You have to hear this. The head of the SEC was the chief financial officer of crooked Hillary Clinton's campaign. I said, who is he? He doesn't seem to be very reasonable. It's not even after me. They're after these poor guys. They said, we'd love to finance your SPAC. That's the end of that. They were served a subpoena because they're trying to silence us. But the head, think of it, the head of the SEC was the chief financial officer of crooked Hillary's campaign that she lost to us. And you won't believe this one, but Melissa Hodgman, I call her Melissa Hodgman Strzok, is the wife of the legendary Peter Strzok of the FBI. And she's the acting director of enforcement at the SEC. So think of this. Peter Strzok's wife is going...
This is all a show to shake you out of the greatest cryptocurrency digital asset ever created, XRP. They don't want you part of the new transfer of wealth. Gary, is that you? Chief Financial Officer, Hillary, for America campaign. We got you on that blockchain trail. Also, if you remember, Donald Trump calls Bitcoin a scam against the dollar. They know about XRP. Knows that the Ripple CEO met with senior Trump administration official in 2018. Was XRP on the agenda? Newly discovered White House record shows head of Ripple met with the senior Trump administration official twice in 2018. 2 years later, we get the lawsuit. There's clearly a lot of homework going on. The White House in particular seems to be thinking about what it means to have 80% of Bitcoin mining taking place in China and the majority of Ether mining taking place in China. And then we get the clarity from the SEC for BTC and ETH, but no XRP. When you look at XRP, there's no mining. So from a foreign control aspect or from an environmental aspect, XRP is a very different beast. And in the conversations we've had with the administration, they seem to think that might matter. We're in a regular talks throughout Washington, and we meet with the regulators as well as politicians. Got a whole team that devoted to doing that, not just in the US, but worldwide. Ripple has long pushed US regulators to adopt smart and sensible policies on crypto assets, free the standard, drain the swamp. Also, Big Brad Garland House, China controls the Bitcoin blockchain. There are 4 miners in China that represent 60% plus of mining capacity, and 80% of mining capacity is based in China for BTC and Ether. This was back in 2020.
Right.
Who's leading?
Well, it depends a little bit how we talk about leading. I mean, China, to your point, it's been fascinating to see it. I mean, they really, through mining power, control the Bitcoin blockchain. You have 4 miners in China that represent something like 60+% of mining capacity, and 80% of mining capacity about is based in China for both Bitcoin and Ether. So in many ways, I think China's been incredibly strategic about how they think about it.
SEC giving clarity to Chinese-controlled coins.
Characterize the SEC has built a reputation, I think, deserved as being a bully. Many players that the SEC has gone after, they simply have to fold their cards. I mean, Ripple will spend well over $100 million defending ourselves in a case that we have tried to move forward as quickly as we can, and the SEC has gone as slowly as they can. Another example I think is pretty profound. There's a kind of infamous speech that Bill Hinman, the director of corporate finance in the SEC, gave in June of 2018 saying ETH is not a security. And the judge 5 times in the last 18 months, the judge in our case, she has ordered the SEC to turn over the notes in that case 5 times. We still don't have those notes. And I look at that as like the SEC, it is a government agency. The government works for the people. The judge is ordering the SEC to turn these notes over, and they won't do it, and they keep coming up with new reasons why. So much so that the judge, in her most recent ruling, said the SEC is being hypocritical And I will quote, saying, not following a faithful allegiance to the law. These are damning words for an agency whose mission is stated as to protect investors. In the case of the the Ripple lawsuit, they destroyed $15 billion of value in the XRP market when they filed the lawsuit. That was not protecting investors.
Gary, are you there? Gary, is that you? Just in, bankrupt crypto lender Celsius Network founder Alex Mashinsky withdraws $10 million weeks before freezing user accounts. Get those cryptocurrencies offline. Ultimately, all of that escrowed XRP will be owned by institutions for no store replacement as a bridge currency or potentially for other use cases. It's no wonder the SEC wants you out. An average cyber Ripple event impacts 10 additional companies beyond the firm. Now that the World Economic Forum says that weather is going to freeze your bank account, are they referring to freezing access to your CBDC funds? Know what you hold, the ripple effect, coming soon. Grab those cryptocurrencies, get them offline into your own self-custody wallets, private keys backed up, stored away, locked away, ready to go for the transformation of wealth. We came a long way, no telling how much taxpayers' money is spent by the SEC from Bill Hinman. Lied under oath that the ETH free pass speech was his personal opinion. Garrison knows.
You were working with Bill Hinman at the time that he made his speech saying that ETH was decentralized in his view. And that has actually been called into question under Chair Gensler. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about kind of what the thinking was that went into that speech saying that ETH was decentralized and whether or not you think any factors have changed to call into question now whether or not it truly is decentralized.
Sure. Yeah. So, I think it's very important to remember the securities law analysis under Howey, and everybody knows Howey now and the Howey test. I won't go into details. It's incredibly flexible and incredibly fact sensitive, right? And so the Bill Hinman Ether speech was an attempt at acknowledging that the facts do change as the product evolves, right? As something is, when it is sold, a certain set of promises might attach to an asset when it is sold and might make it a security. But over time, those promises might fall away and it might become a non-security and just a different asset. That acknowledgement, I think, is still very valid and still very real. I think it's a ongoing analysis that, people can raise questions all the time. That's part of the deal. But at the end of the day, that core concept, I think, is very alive and accurate, that the security label shouldn't have to follow an asset at all times. If there are no promises surrounding the asset, then it's curious to me how something could be in an investment contract.
DAI, watch to the end. Credit Linda P. Jones.
Do you think that the commercial banks sort of get cut off on the action? And what do you think? The commercial banks is extremely important. We'll talk about printing money. So do you see how JP Morgan, how do these big banks thrive in an environment where everyday people can just interact with the Federal Reserve?
Well, so this is an area that I've thought a lot about, and I kind of find it really interesting. I haven't come to any conclusions yet, but I think there's a potential battle between the Treasury and the Fed, which sounds impossible because they work so closely together. But if you think about it, the Fed kind of represents the banks.
The DLT debt transparency platform might be implemented to slow down a systematic meltdown of capital markets. Ripple is one such company working with G20 central banks for blockchain payment instruments. RizXRP, the trains left the station. Fame 21 more.
Nellie Liang explains the importance of prioritizing the international payment system.
Cross-border payments can take days to clear and have high fees. And the U.S. has a strong national interest in supporting global standards for cross-border payment systems.
Two groups that spearheaded these standards was ISO 222 and Faster Payments Task Force, both initiatives Ripple was part of.
That reflect U.S. values, including privacy and human rights, are consistent with AML, CFT considerations, and protect national security. So to conclude, as laid out in the executive order, new technologies, when developed responsibly, can lead to significant efficiencies and further innovations. The Future of Money and Payments report set out a set of recommendations with a deliberate path forward to determine if a CBDC is in the national interest and to support the responsible development and adoption of other innovations.
The banking system has been slow, and that's intentional. A series of checks and balances will reduce risk. KYC and AML laws became strict after the Patriot Act and are now one of the massive costs for banks to comply. The U.S. has so much say over the banking system because it has the reserve currency. It also has majority voting on international organizations like the BIS, the IMF, the World Bank. But banking, as we see in other parts of the world, is evolving. Trying to regulate after the fact versus trying to regulate now will have entirely different outcomes as well as perceptions. She says there's a clear path forward for innovation like crypto and for the US government to decide if a CBDC is wanted. Remember, Rosie Rios used to work for the Treasury as well. She served in the similar type of position as this lady that was just speaking. Rosie Rios said the train had left the station.
Trains left the station, 10K, endgame. Cardano founder reacts to criticism on XRP and ADA. He says, we have moved mountains together. Don't listen to the FUD. Know what you hold. Both projects accomplished new feats this year. XRP's coming. Mr. Uphold 1229 CDT midday tweet. And with that being said, Bagman and Bag Ladies, it doesn't matter where you fall on this list. As long as you're on here, then you already know XRP 321. Load up while you still have some time. Also, checking out the rich list here from James Rule XRP. Back on July 2020 to be a top 10% holder, you needed 3,000 XRP. Currently, the number is down to about 2,500. If you got a bag, welcome to the new 1%. Know what you hold. Breaking news, Gary. We got the evidence. Get those jumpsuits. Get those gel cells ready. We'll see you at the tippy top. And always remember, the bigger the base, the higher we fly in space.
Obviously down from the peaks up here, right? The whole crypto market has kind of gone sideways here. But what does Luis Yamada say? The bigger the base, the higher in space. In my view, you have to have people start using that XRP, that Ripple currency, in substitute for foreign currency, but that's the utility. That's the use case for Ripple, the currency. If that's the case, then that's a pretty nice base right there.
XRP, the bigger the base, the higher we fly in space. Where will you be when they flip on that XRP utility, the king of utility, the bridge, all roads lead to interoperability? XRP will be key. Appreciate you once again for the 40K subs. If you got a bag, welcome to the party. We'll catch you up here at the tippy top. I am the XRP Bagman, the Moon Commander, currently up here on the mothership, stuffing some bags and enjoying the show. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in, smashing those likes for some more Moon O'Clock news. Hope y'all continue to stay extra bullish out there. Continue holding those good vibes. Remember to sell the FUD. Buy up that bag. And don't forget to spread that liquid love. Also, if you're new here, don't forget to drop a subscribe. Drop a comment down below. All the OG diamond hands, drop a comment down below. Drop an elbow on that like button. And we'll catch you up here on the mothership for the moon party. BYOB. Be your own bank. Peace out, crypto ghosts.
Wallpaper, castle like a skyscraper. I think London ready. My bag's getting heavy. By the time we blast, I'ma have so many. You be getting gems on a steady. They try to shake me out, but I was born ready. Dropping down the price, then I be getting plenty. They want all your bags and they want all them empty. 10 cents, please go ahead, don't tempt me. I got many bags, V chains, got the zills. I be feeling stellar, filling up my loom.